Alright everyone, there's a very funny link in the description of this video. Actually, they got audio of the exchange between Bernie Sanders and Elizabethwarren at the end of the Democratic debate, and it's the greatest thing ever, actually. It's amazing. I hope they both stay in the race till the bitter end and continue to feud. Warren goes up to Sanders and basically says, "I think you called me a liar on national TV," and Bernie Sanders is like, "Oh, no, you actually called me a liar. Let's not do this right now." It's the greatest. Two grumpy old people that are like, peddling snake oil. One of them, actually believes his shit. The other one doesn't and is just doing it to get elected. Now, going at it like that. And you can tell this is actual bad blood between these two. It's not just a fucking game. A lot of times candidates, when they feud, or even politicians in general, it boils down to really nothing more than a floor show. We've seen this. For instance, people like Pelosi, at the end of the day, she and Mitch McConnell can hang out and go for drinks. They're $100 a bottle Chardonnay and their $50 craft beers drawn locally by artisanal guild that's been working there in a mud hole for 500 years making the brew. And they can party because they're all, at the end of the day, they're all like rich people and stuff. Bernie Sanders is like maybe the only deviation from this for the most part. Him and Rand, really. Rand among the Republicans. He's got the GOP pissed right now because he keeps making vague threats in regards to the impeachment process. He wants it to be lengthier and beefier and attack the Democrats by bringing forth a bunch of GOP witnesses. The only worry is he's afraid the Never-Trumpers will block him from doing that meaningfully. So it's funny. Here we've got Elizabethwarren saying, "Oh, you called me a liar on national TV." Yeah, he did. And you are. You're saying something. You're saying about another candidate, another person you're competing with, especially since you're both basically in the same lane politically. Warren by pretense, Sanders by long tradition, 50 fucking years on. You've said that the man said something to you that would be taken by your fans and probably at least a significant majority of Democrats, or minority rather, as sexist. Well, it's not really. Saying that your opinion is that a female can't get elected under the situation is not itself sexist. It lacks context, which is the other problem. Sanders is saying he never said any such thing. If that is indeed the case, you are absolutely a liar. Your own campaign responding to this, at least according to Sean King and a few others, and take that reliability level with a grain of salt, of course. They're saying that people in your campaign said, "Oh yeah, well, Elizabeth likes to take stories and embellish them." So what did he actually say? Let's say that there's a kernel of truth to it. It could be that he said, well, Trump will destroy a female candidate because he'll come out with his sexism thing and his fans will be whipped into a frenzy. Well, that's not saying that a female can't win the presidency. That's saying that the fact that they're female might be a detriment if they're running against Donald Trump. I disagree with that. I mean, the idea of Trump as being sexist anyway is basically a lie that's just been repeated so often people have come to believe it. Oh, it's sexist because, I don't know, he's not in a gay relationship or something. This exchange is hilarious. This encapsulates, by the way, this is the best symbol of the Democrats right now that we have. People who are going at it with one another, they're being distracted by a side issue. Bernie actually, to his credit, is the one with the level head that doesn't really want to even address it. Warren keeps bringing it up in part because this is her last-ditch frenetic attack to try to win Iowa. This was Warren's way of taking Sanders down a peg, trying to be in second place in striking distance so that as long as she were riding high at the time, she'd have maybe a 1 in 5 shot at Iowa. Well, it failed. Fuck you. Yeah, good riddance, by the way. Elizabethwarren is a lying snake. Bernie Sanders fans know it, and Trump fans certainly know it. Independent voters like myself certainly know it. Of course she is. She's a career politician. She's gone from being a fairly right-wing Republican, not that many decades ago, to now pretending to be a progressive. It's all been pretend. I predicted that years ago. The 2016 election wasn't even over, and I said, well, Warren's going to sit this one out. She'll give backing to Hillary, because, if you had two dynastic sort of career politician females competing, it wouldn't work. She'll sit it out very wisely. She's expecting Clinton to fail, which she did, and I think there was an expectation that that would happen. Or that she would win, maybe, stroke out. She'd say, fuck you, you're a one-termer. Warren comes in, and then she runs. And that in the meantime, she would do exactly as I predicted she would do. She would groom a character of herself as being a moderate progressive, if that makes any sense. I'm on the left, but I'm a sane leftist. Here's a far leftist for comparison. Worked out really well for her when Bernie Sanders decided to join the race. That was the moment she said cha-ching. The problem is, of course, Elizabethwarren doesn't debate well. She's not a good debater. When antagonized, she does things like this. She makes a fucking fool of herself. And the only recourse she has is sexism, sexism, sexism. All these evil sexists. Nobody cares, Warren. I mean, it's not the 2010s anymore. Get with the modern decade. Get hip, dude. Be rad like the other cool kids. Nobody cares if it's sexism anymore. You're an extremely rich, a wine grandma, a Chardonnay grandma. Nobody's going to chalk it up to sexism except for your core fans, and there aren't that many of them. We know this because you were riding in the mid-20s and now you've collapsed to the mid-teens. Your core fan base sucks. Bernie Sanders has a big core fan base. So does Biden, by the way. His floor is somewhere in the mid-20s. I don't even quite understand it at this point. You got at least a good quarter of Democrats congealed behind Biden, who it appears will never stop supporting him. He will probably still win, even if Bernie says, oh, the Bernie surge and the Bernie wins Iowa. Not necessarily even going to happen, but let's say that happens. Even then, Biden has the advantage. As long as he grabs up 2 of the first states, and he probably will, and there are some people who have said if he wins either Iowa or New Hampshire, he's basically inevitable. I agree. The problem is if he wins Iowa, he goes into New Hampshire and these other states with a boost, a little boost behind him. He definitely gets South Carolina and Nevada. He's got 3 of the first 4. That's pretty stark. If he wins New Hampshire, if he wins, and he's been ahead in one poll and tied in another recently, if Sanders doesn't win New Hampshire, he's fucking done. And he's the only viable competitor Biden has left. As long as he stays in the field, though, losing, it'll take the wind out of Warren's sails. Who else is there in the field who can stop Joe Biden? That's what I would like to ask. There is nobody. People are still saying Hillary Clinton's going to get in. I'm at this point. We're a few weeks from voting in Iowa. Can you fucking give it a rest? Joe Biden and Elizabethwarren are essentially your Hillary Clinton of the cycle. Another reason to speculate Bernie probably doesn't make it. Either that or the DNC's just totally flown the coop. They think that a socialist can win the general election. I happen to deviate from that belief system. This exchange is great. This is what the Democrats are about. Little picky, nitpicking little debates on the side. This isn't about larger policy. This is about the fact that a lying politician decided to lie, and Sanders called her out, and this is a big problem, supposedly. Sanders definitely gets the best of this particular exchange. He's got Veritas problems at the moment regarding communism. Apparently, many of his Iowa field staff still have their Twitter accounts locked at the moment. This is becoming a free-for-all. This is better than a circus or a zoo. This is better than a clown car. We're going to have to invent a new metaphor for politics or for a political cycle to describe the current Democrats and their state. That's about all. Peace out.